Batman on TV. The first installment of Batman on TV came in '66 when Adam West brought a campy version of the comic book hero to life. Concluding its third series due to a decline in viewership and budget, the fight scene from Series 3, Episode 25, The Entrancing Dr. Cassandra, shows the key similarities and differences between itself and other parts of the Batman franchise.
Swallow the pills!
They're gone!
Narrative capacities. The scene is a final fight scene between the protagonists and a variety of series antagonists. It includes a number of special effects, although some of it takes place in the dark due to budget constraints. The fight involves Batman, Robin and Batgirl against a number of the series' villains, including the Riddler and the Joker. The setting for the scene is the villain's hideout. It is brightly lit to begin, and uses the visual aspects of the medium to bring the comic book's colours and themes to life. As the show is for a family audience, the lighting of the fight cuts out partway through so as not to show too much violence.
Well, how can we fight them if we can't see them?
We may not be able to see them, but I have the feeling they're still here.
Semiotic capacities. Sound effects are used, something which the comic books cannot, to convey the fight, as crashes and laughter of the invisible villains are used to effect. The settings are recognisable from the comic books for fans, and the language used by Adam West in the scene is a step away from the regular Batman, as it's intended to be family-friendly, rather than a dark knight.
We're outnumbered 8-3.
It's not the odds, Robin, it's the atmosphere.
Wait a minute. They'd be in the same boat if they couldn't see us.
Right.
Technological and cultural capacities. The scene highlights the technological capacities of TV, as the comic could not convey the sound of Batman or how Batman moves through Gotham. The TV literally brought the comic books to life, from a page to a character with motion and impact. This was the first time Batman had a voice, but it was a family-friendly voice, as shown by his tone towards the fight. The imagery of the scene is bright and bold, like the comic books were becoming.
The Batman film I will be focusing on is the 2012 Batman The Dark Knight Rises, directed by Christopher Nolan. Specifically the scene in which Batman fights Bane in the sewers. The narrative. The events that occur within this scene is a fight between Batman and Bane. This scene has fast-paced movement and violence. Batman, Bane and Catwoman feature in this scene, all three characters featured in several different Batman films, comics and TV episodes. Crawl 2012 states, they increasingly need to produce content that moviegoers will instantly recognise and embrace, including characters instantly recognisable to the fan of the Batman franchise. The location of the scene is underground in the sewers. An isolated place which is dimly lit with waterfalls and hardware around as obstacles for the two characters while they fight. The ways in which film characters use technological capacities to communicate moving image is with facial expression. You can easily see within the fight scene the distress on Batman and Catwoman's face while the scene plays out. This is a very obvious indication to the viewers what the mood of the scene is. Cultural capacities within this scene start with timing. The Dark Knight Rises is just under 3 hours long. A film has less screen time to convey than a TV programme. Therefore, they have to create similar stories with the same styled location, characters and images in a shorter amount of time. On the other hand, filmmakers have a larger budget than TV or games, meaning their semiotic phenomena such as images, music, soundtrack, costume design, and sets are to a higher standard. This can improve their ability to tell a story, especially since they have less time to do so. The ways in which the Batman creators have used semiotic phenomena to convey this particular scene is by setting a dark and moody tone. This dark setting is a key semiotic feature as it is easily recognisable to Batman fans, although this is different to how Batman was portrayed in TV. Dark, mysterious and melancholy portrayal of the superhero departed from the campy caped hero portrayed by Adam West in the 60s TV series. This is shown through language with a deep and aggressive tone to their voices, but also body language as they engage in a fight. The imagery within this scene is very dark and as they are underground. The light within the scene are spotlights, which creates a lot of harsh lighting as well as dark shadows. This helps create a dark and moody setting. It's also worth noting that there isn't any music or soundtrack featured within this scene. And that concludes Batman on film.
Batman comics. The Batman comics have been around since 1940. During that time, a lot of stories have been created. So the part I'll be focused on is the page of Tom King's Batman issue 20 from the storyline, Iron Bane. Within this page, this has a encapsulation of action and motion. Encapsulation of action and motion. Encapsulation is a term describing creators a select phase of events in which the encapsulation moment in a distinct panel on a page. To support my argument, I'll be using my sources from the Power of Comics History, Form and Culture, page 115. Within the image shown in the slides, creators have used a number of different methods within this power, to which I'll explain. On this slide, I'll explain the first two methods. The first is posture, which is mostly commonly used in all of comics. The second, which is the context of which posture, is called speed lines, which is a technique that indicates the direction and rapidity of movement within the contours drawn lines. As you can see in the image below, you can see it as Bane is dragging Batman's head and throwing it across, with the speed line showing the force of what he's throwing Batman at. On this slide, I will explain the other methods. So within this slide here, I explain that the artist makes multiple full drawings of characters in action, which, with just a slight difference of each position, shows the movements within the scene to create action on a page. So we see on the top panel here, we see that as Batman's on the ground, Bane is punching Batman in a manner that shows movement to create scene on a page. Just a little slight movement as well. We also see that the artist also uses a technique which implies what happens between the panels to occupy a different space or assuming different posture than the previous panel, which is shown with the mugging of the shooting of Martha and Thomas Wayne, where you see the gun is shooting in one direction, yet although it's the same panel, the posture is different than the previous panel, as you see the gun is shooting Martha Wayne as well. This concludes my piece on Batman in comics.
The narrative capacities of video games mainly focus around a player's consequence and action, with the action creation limited by the developers through settings and AI characters. In order for players to progress, developers make players pursue goals to get further in the video game, therefore forwarding the narrative for the players. The goals are achieved through different characters in their specified settings. In Batman Arkham Origins, the first goal that the player needs to complete in order to progress through the narrative is to go to the Black Mask crime scene in Black Mask's penthouse. The only way to get through the narrative is to go to the exact setting of this specific character's location. This is told to the player through heads-up mission displays. A lot of Batman Arkham Origins is based around assassins attempting to destroy Batman. In order to create their own narrative, the players must defeat all the different villains, starting with a lower ranked villain and working their way up through upgrades and side quests to earn more XP to defeat the higher skilled villains. The AI characters that the developers create are done with scripted movements and special abilities that only they can perform. For example, the first assassin that Batman comes up against is Killer Croc. This villain is easily defeated as the AI components are based on a low-level player. However, even if the player was a highly skilled level, the narrative wouldn't be able to progress without defeating Killer Croc. There are many different narratives throughout Arkham Origins, including Anarchy missions, Mad Hatter missions, and Penguin missions. However, the main story revolves around the assassins that are trying to defeat Batman. Therefore, in order for players to progress anywhere, they need to gain skill points through those side missions. Once players start leveling up, they can upgrade Batman's artillery, including core controls, close combat upgrades, invisible predator upgrades, and auxiliary upgrades. These in turn aid the player when it comes to facing larger and more skilled and scripted AI assassins.
Although video game narrative emerges through the player's action and choices, it is the developer's choice to lay out goals for the players to follow to forward the story. This is done through heads-up goal displays like Locate Black Mask, Acquire the Concussion Detonator at the Batcave, and Follow the Red Trail as you scrub through the crime scene reconstruction to find hidden evidence. This, in turn, makes it easy for the players to comfortably play through the narrative, but also gives the developers an easy way of telling a narrative through video game. This concludes my part of Batman in video game.